Welcome to another in the series of DataWorks Studios e-learning presentations. DataWorks Studios is working with the Creative Futures program to develop an e-learning platform using various technologies including Second Life to teach aspects of theatre management. Today we will review the interactive sound desk. The sound desk has been developed to assist the learner to develop their conceptual understanding of sound management, develop their navigation and orientation skills around the sound desk as a precursor to continuing their learning on a real sound desk. The idea of splitting and merging sound sources and directing sound to various outputs for many students can initially be a challenging concept. One of the fundamental goals in developing this sound desk is to help the learner to grasp these concepts. In this presentation, we will demonstrate how using the Second Life environment allows us to both hear and see sound management in action. The virtual sound desk has been modelled on a real-world desk. We have reduced the number of inputs and output channels to simplify the ability to navigate the desk while leaving sufficient controls to teach. Most of the controls we can see are fully functional and have the same behaviour as a real desk. A few controls and panels are for display only. These provide the desk with familiarity as the learner migrates to a real-world desk. The desk has 4 inputs: a guitar, a flute, harp, and bowrun. The bowrun's a handheld drum used in traditional Irish music. For this demonstration, we select the bowrun, flute, and harp, and channel the output to the front speakers. By clicking on the slider control, we can choose the input level for each instrument. We will select the bowrun at 100%, the flute at 50%, and finally the harp, also at 50%. We will see the significance of these shortly. At the moment we cannot hear any sound as we've not decided upon an output channel. By clicking on the slider for the main output, I can now direct sound to the front 2 speakers. We can now hear the sound, but we can also see the sound by looking at the main peak meter, and by looking at the peak meters on each speaker. They are in the same order as the input channels: the guitar, flute, harp, and bowrun. The sound is coming from each speaker. We can also see 4 peak meters on the speaker. Note that the bowrun is peaking higher than the flute and harp. Remember, we chose to limit the input levels to 50% for the harp and flute earlier. By clicking the pan control for the flute, I can determine the balance control. I will choose 100% for the left output channel. By zooming in to the left speaker, we can hear and see all the output of all the instruments. By zooming to the right speaker, we can see that the flute is no longer playing. The desk can also simulate the real world by directing sound to a monitor, an auxiliary channel. Here we can see both monitors. Now we will direct the bowrun to the first monitor. We will select 100% of the input audio to the auxiliary 1 channel. Now we will open up the first auxiliary channel and set the output to 100%. By zooming into monitor 1, we can hear and see the bowrun playing. We can also hear in the background the front speakers still playing the bowrun, flute, and harp as we left them. The desk has 2 auxiliaries and 2 additional speakers as we can see behind us. The desk allows the user to mix any combination of the 4 input channels to any and all of the output channels at the same time, allowing the learner to truly experience the control of a sound desk, whilst developing their understanding of sound management using a virtual resource, often limited in supply or access in the real world. We hope you found this presentation interesting. The desk has been developed by DataWorks Studios. If you have any questions or are interested in learning more about the technology or the e-learning program, you can contact us by emailing us at info@dataworksstudios.com or by visiting us at www.dataworksstudios.com or www.creativefutures.eu.